Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Responsive. A progressive web app must be compatible with the screen size of mobile devices, such as smartphones and tablets. App like a progressive web app must look and feel like a native mobile application, utilizing few page refreshes unlike a website. Internet independent. These apps should work anywhere, regardless of available internet connectivity. Re-engageable. Again, mobile apps retain more users than websites. Progressive web apps must achieve the same result, typically through push notifications. Downloadable. These apps can be downloaded and installed on a device's homepage, making it readily accessible anytime. Secure. Progressive web apps must be managed over a HTTPS connection since its intimate user experience can be compromised by savvy hackers. How to build a progressive web app. 8 simple steps. Are you ready to start building your progressive web app? Here are 8 straightforward steps to make sure that your project goes by without a hitch. Step number 1. Use a HTTPS server. In all honesty, your website should have a HTTPS prefix anyway. The S in HTTP simply indicated an extra layer of online protection known as an SSL certificate. This helps users feel more secure on your website, especially if it processes sensitive data like credit card information. When building a progressive web app, using a HTTPS server is essential for leveraging service workers, allowing users to install the platform on their home screen. If you don't have an SSL certificate, you should contact your domain registrar to purchase one for a low cost. Step number 2. Develop an application shell. The shell of your application will be the first thing that loads and your user sees. As such, your application shell should be present in your index.html document. It must also appear with inline CSS to make sure that the shell appears instantaneously and reduce page load time. This is one of the most important steps that can impact user experience down the road of development. Your app should provide the user with immediate content and improve it as soon as more data JavaScript is available. Below, you'll see an example was derived from a sample application using React.js. As you can see, the shell of the app is shown in the index.html. Once React and JavaScript has been completely rendered. Step number 3. Add a service worker. To fully realize the advantages of a progressive web app, such as install and caching prompts and push notifications, you'll need to register a service worker. The good news is that adding a service worker is pretty simple. You'll first need to see if your browser even supports service workers. If your browser does support service workers, you can register the file. It's important to add that nothing special needs to be inside of the file. Below is an example of what all of this will look like. The service worker is installed when a person visits your platform. It's then activated before registration. Finally, when the application makes a network request for additional data, it's fetched. Fetching is extremely important to maintain network independence. Step number 4. Install push notifications. Again, server workers are critical in allowing push notifications. This is done through a web-based push API. To make this feature possible, you'll need to access the push manager file in the service worker. The success of your push notifications in your server workers will rely on extensive backend configuration, so that won't be discussed in this guide. However, if you're creating an app from scratch, Google Firebase offers simple-to-use push notifications. If you can keep your design files secure in an online storage repository, you'll be all set to move forward. Step number 5. Install a web app manifest. Next, you'll need to make your progressive web app installable. This means including a manifest.json file in the root directory of your application. This is simply a description of your application, including a description, name, and splash screen. This information is similar to what you'll find in any app store. You're just configuring your web app to operate the same. Step number 6. Set up the installation prompt. When a person lands on your progressive web app, they'll be automatically prompted by Google Chrome to automatically install the platform to their home screen. This is provided that the person visits the app twice for a defined period of time. It's important to make sure a user shows interest in your app first, unlike native apps that require users to download them first. Step number 7. Analyze your app's performance. Once your progressive web app is finished, you'll need to perform an extensive testing run to ensure that it's performing optimally. The most important metrics to measure here is user retention and page load time. Both of these factors will undeniably influence the success of your application and require you to go back to the drawing board if necessary. Step number 8. Perform an audit. Google has been a major proponent of progressive web apps since their inception. As such, it has introduced Lighthouse, a diagnostic tool that measures your app's performance on a scale of 1 to 100. Much like an SEO audit, this tool can give you a data-driven estimation of how well your progressive web app is faring online. Need help in building a progressive web app? As you can see, there is a lot of work and time in building a progressive web app. If you need help in creating one for your business, we can help. Contact us today to learn more about how we can help.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.